Knows best and you know best. I'm Barbara and I'm from Self Care Studio, and today I want to chat to you. First, especially if you don't know me, I think it's really important that I just share a few things about myself. So I'm 41 and I live in the Illawarra region of New South Wales, where it's flooding right now. I've lived here for 5 years and I'm originally a Kiwi. I'm from Auckland in New Zealand. I truly believe that if you're watching this, it's actually for a reason. You may be sick and tired of being sick and tired, or you may have no energy, have trouble sleeping, you can't stick to a diet, you may overeat or undereat, or you may exercise or over-exercise. You may hate your body and your life, and thoughts are all like you just want to get leaner and skinnier, and it just controls your life. And as soon as you open your eyes in the morning, your negative self-talk just greets you and says, hey, what's going on? It may be just getting worse and all this stuff just rules your life, but you'd never share this with anyone, right? Because no one else feels this way. We just don't think that anyone else thinks the way that we think. This chat that just you and I today are going to have is something that you've probably never done before, and there's a reason for this. Is I've created this especially for you today, so I can share some of the tools and knowledge that I have to help you create the life that you actually want and not be restricted with diets and weight loss. I'm gonna reframe a few things and just give you the power to choose. I think that's really cool, rather than being told what to do. I'd love for you to keep an open mind, because not everything I'm going to share with you today is going to be for you, and that's okay. I want you to start listening to your gut or your intuition, whatever you call it, and just to keep asking yourself, how does this feel for me? Does this feel right? Is it okay? And if it does, great, it's for you. If not, it means it's just not for you. So same goes with when we talk about food and nutrition. There may be some rules, beliefs and ideas that you've got around food, and you may start to try new foods once we have a chat today, and it just takes a bit of time to discover what's right for you. I think for all of us that want long-lasting change, we need to look at what our foundation is. I'm really big on that, and just finding when it comes to weight loss, diets, food and exercise, we just focus on all the wrong things and just keep repeating the same stuff over and over again. I see you, and I know what it feels like to look every day in the mirror feeling deflated, hating what you see, comparing yourself to others, having an idea of what you think that your body should look like, and self-destructing your body with alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, overeating, undereating, ignoring how you look. Some days you just want to block it out, or maybe subconsciously you're actually waiting for something bad to happen to be like, oh okay, I better go do something healthy for myself now, right? And you may just feel totally disconnected to your body. You keep looking for the thing that's going to help you, and you probably, if you're anything like me, you've paid so much money over the years and you just never stick to anything, and maybe you find one or two things that work, but it just kind of doesn't last for long. You feel frustrated and angry and tired, and you're just like, oh bloody hell, I'm over this. And you just don't care anymore. But the thing is that you do care, because you're here today. Sorry, my chair just creaked. But I see you and I'm so proud of you. I don't want you to settle. I want you to be your best self from the inside out. And this chat that you and I are having today, even with all the heavy rain and all sorts of people outside sandbagging, we can have a chat. So we're going to focus about mindset and BioIndividuality, Biofeedback, Epigenetics. We're going to talk about some of those things today. And just knowing that things I share with you, being able to be flexible, because every 5 to 10 years, your body actually changes. So what works for you now may not work for you in the future. And it's to do with your stress levels as well. It's a whole factor of things. So if you're chasing a certain weight or a clothing size, or wishing to look a certain way, by all means, I can absolutely help you get there. But I want to make it really, really clear. It's not going to make you happy. Your problems aren't going to automatically be fixed. You won't be happy. You won't have this amazing life that you kind of dream of, that when I'm skinny or lean, or when I'm this size, my life will be XYZ, right? I know, because I've been there, done that. you know, you may sometimes look at old photos, right? And like you look at yourself and you go, oh wow, I look really good there. Like I look really lean or skinny and fit. How come I thought I was fat back then? And I would do anything to be like that now. Like I want to be really happy. But you know what? It was actually never about the weight. It was how you thought of yourself and the lack of self-love. So I'm really big on loving yourself and like how you speak to yourself. So like when you look in the mirror with your naked body, like what do you actually say to yourself? Do you notice that you've got some rules and stuff? Or like even with you and I just having a chat now, is there anything that's coming up for you? And are there conditions and limits that you place on yourself? Like, oh, I'll never be able to do that, or that's not for me. There are some common ways that we kind of make rules in ourselves, especially when it comes to diet, weight loss, hating our bodies. Like, but it starts with I must, I should, I have to. Or if I don't do this, then X or Y will happen, right? If we're not aware of like where we're starting from, our blueprint, or I call it our manual that we've created our life for, and we acknowledge there's a mismatch between the blueprint and our desired, like what we want, we're just going to keep getting stuck over and over again. We actually design our own lives, and I really believe that to be really happy, good health is like a really good foundation, right? There's something that I just never knew or never thought about was there's always going to be like a sliding scale, because I'm pretty much an all or nothing gal, you know, right? And there's a sliding scale of macronutrients and food that we need to eat too, and it can be just a secret weapon. It's just so under-talked about how food can just really help you and what's happening in your life to do with your stress, with your adrenals or your thyroid or your nervous system and digestive system. And by eating the right type of foods that are right for you, it can really help you live a healthy and strong life. You know, one thing I love talking about with my clients and ladies is carbohydrates, right? They're so important for our nutrition, and they just get a bad rap. Like, we're always told to cut out carbs if you want to be thin and healthy, but it's actually like a short-term gain for a long-term problem, right? And carbs, I just think, are really critical to how our body functions, because when they go into the body, they're broken down into glucose, and that's like our main source of fuel for our bodies. Carbs gives us like energy, stabilizes like blood sugar levels, preserves muscle mass, and most of us don't know it kind of prevents the breakdown of proteins for energy, because complex carbs and stuff take longer to break down, which means like you're actually going to feel full for longer. But it also really helps you feel calm. So when you've had a really stressful day, a lot of ladies just have a salad and go, oh, I'm being good. But if you don't add carbohydrates into your meal at night, you're not going to shut off your fight or flight system, and it's really going to increase your anxiety levels. But the truth is, like, food is not the enemy, and you've got to thank your food for nourishing your body. So I just think a lot of us, when we think about food, it's like good or bad, we hate our bodies, and we always blame ourselves for things. And I think one of the things that I learned about quite early on was BioIndividuality. That's a really cool term if you haven't heard about it before. And what it is basically like, if you and I went out for an ice cream right now, right? So what's your favorite flavor? Think of your favorite flavor. I'm a bit of a chocolate girl, so I'd have like double chocolate chip or something. And like we can both have ice cream and I can be fine, and it doesn't, the dairy doesn't affect me, where you could have like a really upset tummy, or your skin can break out, or you can have all of these things from dairy, right? So bioindividuality means that what's right for one of us might not be right for you. So if you're anything like me, like in the early years of me trying to find what was right for me with like my diet and exercise and like nutrition, I would like seek help from other people, but they'd always like give me a plan or kind of tell me what to do. With some things I didn't like, or some things didn't sit well with my body, but I really pushed through because I felt like that was the right thing to do. Here's this expert helping me, right? I'm paying them money. They're going to help me fuel my body, give me the dream body I want, be fit and healthy, blah, blah, blah. What I found was I was just completely ignoring me. I was just blocking this out, like I didn't matter. I don't know, like I'm silly, I don't know anything. I'll just trust this one person. But guess what? Some things that are good for me and some things aren't for me. Same with you, right? When I talk about dairy, gluten, sugar, like any types of food, suit me but may not suit you. And I think knowing about your own bio-individuality, knowing what works best for you is just such a really blanket, great way to start when you're so confused. You may, like for me, like when I lost weight, because our bodies go through different seasons, right? So sometimes we put weight on, sometimes we lose weight and all that kind of stuff. But when I was in a season where like I was really like happy, even though I wasn't happy with my weight, right? I ate a certain way and exercised a certain way. So every time what would happen is when I was unhappy with my body or I couldn't fit my clothes, I'd actually revert back to that thing that worked for me. It may have been like 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. But the thing that no one really tells us is that worked for you. It was a short-term kind of fix, or it did work. But what happens over the years, everything about our body, 5 to 10 years, everything changes. And then we kind of put the stress of our lives. We may be single, then we may be married, then we may have children, then we may be a mum, or, you know, whatever stage of life that we go through, we need different things. And so that was really interesting for me. And one thing that I want to share with you today is this word, the bio-individuality. You're like, okay, Barbs, you're talking to me about bio-individuality. How do I find mine? Like, how do I find my thing? And I think it's really good to do a food journal. And I know a lot of people, I used to be the same, would roll their eyes and be like, ugh, someone else is asking me to do a food journal. I'm going to be like, no one's honest, no one writes down what they eat. We all make up stuff. Hey, look, we've all been there, right? We all make up stuff that we've eaten to show the nutritionist or the trainer, whoever, that we've eaten. Like, they know. But we all do it, and it gives us that real anxiety, like, oh God, why am I going to write everything down? But what I want to do is take that away from you. Take away all that stuff that you've ever known before, and make a food journal. But this is just for you. And what I want you to do is, like, there's no good or bad foods, but what I want you to do from tomorrow is just write down what you eat for breakfast, what you eat for lunch, what you eat for dinner, or whatever, and just see how you feel. That's all it is. It's the mind-body connection. Okay? It's just learning, like, what goes in your body. What is the biofeedback? Biofeedback is what your body is telling you to do. And a lot of us are really out of tune with it. This may come in forms of headaches, migraines, dry eyes, skin conditions, digestive issues, aches and pains that we go, oh, we're a certain age now, it's normal, or my mum had this, or my dad had this. Like, everything can be looked at and addressed, but if we're not aware of it ourselves, because we're so busy, like, looking after our family, looking after our business, looking after our kids, looking after everyone else, and then we'll look after ourselves. But what happens is, if we're not in tune with our mind-body connection, when we're feeding ourselves, we don't know, our body's constantly talking to us. Sometimes it's yelling at us, and we're just, like, for me, for a really long time, I was just checked out. Like, I'd get sometimes a bloated tummy or whatever, and I'd almost just laugh it off, going, oh, my stupid stomach's bloated today. Oh, how annoying. But I actually wouldn't be accountable for myself, going, okay, Barbara, your body loves you. I don't know just why we hate our body so much. Our body loves us. Our body is trying to just survive. It's what it's built to do, but we just hate it. We hate how it looks. We hate how it functions sometimes, and we just blame it. And it's like, actually, it's not its fault. But if we actually record down what we eat, please, 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 I want you to take away, there's no good or bad, no judgment. And I really mean that, because this actually works. So I write down what I eat in a day and what I drink. Because I don't know if you're like me, but in the morning I wake up and people are like, oh, what'd you have for dinner last night, Barbara? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I actually can't remember, right? But by having the food journal, if I have a skin rash or I have digestive issues or I have anything, I can just revert back to my like food journal and go, oh, I had a headache that day. Oh, that was right. I didn't drink enough water. Or like, there's always going to be a reason why. And you know what? It's such a cool thing to do. Like, it's really cool. And another thing I wanted to talk to you about too is stress. Okay, so you can eat the perfect diet, do the perfect training, sleep well. You know how we're all talking about this stuff at the moment. But your stress levels, you may not like who you live with, you may not like your partner, you may not like your in-laws, you may have issues at work, you may have issues with your neighbours, you may just, you may be a new mum and have lost your identity, or like you may be a mum and just be like, oh, who am I anymore? And it's just all the stressful, gosh, of our normal day. Like, as I look out this window right now, the rain pouring down, weather issues, COVID issues, like, all that kind of just external stress. Even if we're like, oh, we're fine, we're not worried about it, it all kind of takes a toll, right? And when I learned this stuff, it just kind of made sense. All the stuff I talk about, it's not rocket science. It's just really simple stuff. And once you know the stuff, you can just use it in your own life. And we're brought up in, there's two phases of being, right? So there's the fight, freeze, or flight. And that's what we're kind of created to do. And there's another way of being, which is the rest, digest, and repair. So which one do you think we should be in? Yeah, it's the rest, digest, and repair, right? That's where our body's the most calm. But we're never really calm because we might hear something on the news, something on the radio, something someone tells us. And so our body's not designed to be in stress like all the time. And it just makes everything like stress creates inflammation, and there's just a whole list of things that kind of, you get into this field. And I just think by calming yourself down, because stress has a really negative impact on your immunity and your health. And immunity is linked to gut health and all that kind of stuff. But I just want to really keep things chatty and simple today. Like, I really don't want to go too deep. 2 things I want to share with you today that may help you. So we've talked about the food journal, right? The other thing is breath work. So it's really easy to Google or YouTube it, some breath work. The reason why I say breath work is, like, I didn't know this. And look, if you already know this, that's totally cool. So I'm just kind of doing a bit of revision. But breath work is the only thing that can get you out of like the fight or flight thing. So if you're feeling really stressed and stuff, please don't use it obviously if you're having a panic attack or anything. It's totally different. But just for that way, breath work and stuff is something that can really help you with stress and just resetting yourself. But the other thing is, I want you to promise yourself is when you wake up in the morning, maybe for the first 15 minutes, don't pick up your phone and scroll through it. And you know what? I'm going to be accountable to you guys because I've been doing that lately and it's a bad habit. So as you and I are talking, it's just you and me here. I'm going to make that promise to myself, and I want you to do it too. So for the first 15, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever you can actually do, I'm not going to pick up my phone from tomorrow morning. I'm actually just going to leave it for half an hour or so. I'll do a bit of journal work, a bit of meditation, or make myself a cup of coffee or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not going to pick up my phone and constantly be consumed by that stress. So maybe that's something that you can do as well. But that's, what I wanted to chat about today is it's all of these things, like learning about food, learning about movement, learning about stress, learning about what's right for you. Because once you click into that and you being in charge, like, I want you to be your number one backer. Because if something doesn't feel right, that means it's probably not right. And we somehow lose. I know I lost it. I think as a teenager I lost it. Like, I used to be really intuitive and like back myself. And then somewhere along the line you just lose the ability to, when you feel something, you just talk yourself, oh, I'm being silly, I'm being stupid, I don't know anything. But I think where it comes to like how we think about our bodies and stuff, I want you to know that you're not alone. Like, you know how 24/7 you have this voice inside your head that's like, you're ugly. Look, this is kind of what's on my repeat. I'm just going to share with you, like, you're not good enough, Barbs. Like, you're just so overweight, you need to lose weight. You're like ugly. Like, this is the stuff, I know it sounds, I'm being quite vulnerable here, but I think it's really important that the more I share with you, the more you kind of, can kind of walk along with me here. So, you're fat, you're ugly, you don't know anything about nutrition, you don't know anything about body image or weight loss. Like, why are you talking to these ladies, right? And it just plays 24/7 in my head, and those negative thoughts never, ever, ever go away. But like, it's like a primal thing, right? It comes from our brains, and our body function hasn't changed from, like, I always talk about caveman days with my clients, and they always laugh at me, and they're like, oh, Barb's caveman days. But it was like a really big game changer when I learned. It just makes sense, right? Again, I said it's not rocket science. Your brain and your body and stuff, they're like thousands of years old, but we're in today's world. Our brain and our body doesn't know what the internet is, doesn't know what all this stress is going on. It's just trying to keep us alive. And the more you can back yourself and just stop your brain bullying your body and know, oh, these negative thoughts that are going on in my head about what I eat and how I look, and it's we've all got it, we just don't talk about it, and it's normal. It just changes everything. I was always looking for that constant fix, like what's next, like this is gonna be the time where I lose the weight and I'm gonna be healthy, and it's the fix. Like, we're all looking for it, and just all these companies make millions of dollars where you actually have everything within you. I want you to start trusting yourself again. If you don't like the taste of something, like literally you eat something, let's use like spinach is a great superfood, right? But let's just use it for an example. If you eat it and you gag and you're like, oh, I can't stand it, but I have to force it down because it's good for me. Yes, it's great for you, it's fantastic, but there's so many alternatives. And sometimes with food, sometimes as a kid I used to hate cucumber and now I really like it. Your body evolves and changes over those 5 to 10 year periods. So just because you don't like it now doesn't mean you might not like it in the future. But also, there's so many alternatives. I really want you to stop being so hard on yourself. If you don't like it, like, let's find something else. No worries. I've got a whole list of other things that you can have, right? So if it means you don't like it, your body's just telling you, it's not for you. Like, let's really get in tune, ladies, with our mind and our body connection, and just putting your hand on your heart, backing yourself, going, I've got this. I can do this, okay? So I really hope this chat was just a really small insight into, that you've got your own back and your body knows best. And the more that we can know about this biofeedback, bioindividuality, right? Oh, one little gem that I've just missed out that I want to talk to you about is another new word that may be new to you called epigenetics, right? You may have a history of cancer, diabetes, I know I do, heart disease, whatever it is in your family. You think, oh my God, my auntie and my uncle and everyone's had it, I'm going to have it. Like, oh well, like basically I'm next. The cool thing with science and everything that's happened now is there's actually a thing called epigenetics. So we all have these genes, I like to call them light switches, right, in our bodies. And these light switches can be turned on or off. And a lot of the time it's to do with inflammation and types of food. So just because someone has genetics that's kind of directed towards a certain type of disease or ill health, it doesn't mean that you can get that. There's ways now with epigenetics that you can actually turn the light switch off, and being able to actually not have that disease, right? There's a lot more to it than that, but I really like to keep things simple and fresh and fun, because all this stuff, that diet and body image and weight loss and self-love and self-care and all that stuff, oh my God, everyone talks about it, and doesn't need to be serious. It can be fun, and you can have a laugh, and it's discovering, and it's, you know what, sometimes it's just bloody hard work. And I can see why sometimes you just want to dive into the pack of chips or the wine or whatever it is, right, and just go, I can't do it. It's hard. When you've got great people, and that's why I'm on here today, I just want to be here for you, and just know that I'm right there with you. I know exactly what it feels like. Even when you're working on this stuff, right? You still put your head on the pillow at night and you still think, okay, you know what? You still do these business deals with yourself. Right, tomorrow I'm going to drink this water. I'm going to eat this and not eat this. You do all these business deals, and then you wake up and halfway through the day you've broken the contract with yourself and you're doing whatever, and you go, oh my God, I'm such a failure. I'll do it next week. And I still find right in the back of my head, these business contracts I make with myself still happen. Oh, Barbara, you ate that today, or you didn't exercise. Oh, guess what? You've got to make up for it tomorrow. I'm like, what? Where is this stuff coming from? Go away. Anyway, I just hope that this has given you a bit of information, something that will help you in the direction of finding what is best for you. Keep going. You will find your thing. You will find your people. You will find what's best. And I tell you what, from a girl that always stood out, a girl that always is built athletically, a girl that never felt good enough, I feel good enough now. And you know what? I want you to feel like, I want you to feel how I'm feeling. That you're giving yourself permission to listen to what you need. You know, when was the last time before you ate a meal you were like, you paused? I'm not talking like for long. What do I actually feel like today? We never do that, right? It's just quick, what's quick and easy, or I won't eat, or not eating is good, or like, if you're anything like me, I have a very healthy appetite. And for a woman having a healthy appetite, somewhere along the lines, we got told that we're pigs if we eat too much, or you eat more than a guy, or well, you shouldn't eat that, like ladies should, like, where do all these rules come from, right? Anyway, I'm going to sign off now, but please know that I'm with you all the way, and thank you. Thank you for joining me today and having a listen and having a chat about that. You know best, your body knows best, and hopefully I've given you some tools to tune into the mind-body connection to help you find what's best for you, okay? Sending you lots of love, have your own back, and thank you for joining me.